Nintendo Switch. Hardware-wise one of the most creative consoles with a fair share of amazing titles in its lineup is reaching its end with the coming of Switch 2. I'm quite a fresh owner of Switch as I have it for not even 3 full years by now, and to be honest, I didn't really like the console at first, be it the launch of it, or me actually buying it. Why was it, and why is Switch currently a beloved console of mine? Join me on my journey of learning to love the Nintendo Switch. I'm Arak, and welcome to RNG. Since the launch of the console, I didn't really like it. Sure, the concept of Joy-Cons and Nintendo releasing yet another family console sounded cool, but it was standing against the new generation of consoles, the PS4 and Xbox One, and my initial argument was that Switch is way overpriced for what it offers. And it kinda shows even with me, as I believe it's a console of mine that currently holds the biggest financial value, even though PlayStation was my main platform for years now. And I kinda knew what I could be getting myself into, as my first ever console was Nintendo GameCube. Console that with recent years gained much needed recognition, but a console that basically none of the people I ever talked about games with actually knew. I also owned a DS Lite, which was at one point my main and most favorite console. And from GameCube actually comes the reason I even own a Nintendo Switch now, and it's purely because of the nostalgia bias. There was one single game that I remember loving the hell out of on Nintendo GameCube, and I swore that if the game will ever get at least a port on Switch, I'm buying it. And that game was Super Mario Sunshine. When I heard about the 3D collection which was supposed to release, I knew my time has come and that I need to get the collection. I also knew that it's gonna sell for just a limited time, so I saved, I went, and I bought the damn game. Mind you, this was 2 years before I could actually save up for a Switch. I actually thought I will get the Switch very soon after getting the game. I thought that the same year I'm going to acquire it. So not only did I have this game sitting on my shelf waiting patiently on the purchase of the console, I even bought a cover case for my Switch themed after Cthulhu, as I was obsessing with Lovecraft at the time. And to be honest, I still am. But it had to wait for 2 actual years to get used. Nintendo Switch OLED was released in the meantime, but guess what? My initial gripe came back again. OLED was extremely overpriced for what it had to offer. No real change came except slightly bigger OLED screen and LAN port in the dock. And it also came in white. Ew. So I bought the version 2 Grey edition of Switch, and with just a collection of 3 Mario games, I started my journey. 8th of June 2022. I was rushing to get my Switch so much that I eventually regretted I could get it for $50 less if I would wait just a week more. Anyway, that didn't matter that much. I had my Switch, I had Mario, and to be honest, just the title screen kicked me back into when I was just 4 years old and got my Nintendo GameCube and my copy of Super Mario Sunshine for my 4th birthday. The pure nostalgia overwhelmed me. I was smiling like crazy at the screen as I was just reliving my childhood that moment. It was amazing. But it was the only game I had, so my Switch still wasn't even near being my main console, as I still had a huge library on my PS4, while I just tried out some demos on Switch. Soon, and I mean in like a month, I got 4 other games. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, Monster Hunter Stories 2, that I still haven't touched to this day, lol, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I hopped into Hyrule hoping I'm about to experience the best RPG that was ever released, with so much freedom you can literally shape your own story of sorts. And that didn't happen. I spent weeks brute forcing my way through the game, only to give up on it. The fear of missing out was awful though, so I at least watched some tips, videos with guides, and I stumbled upon a 3-hour long video that was talking about Breath of the Wild. Halfway through watching it, seeing all the different solutions to puzzles, the hidden side quests I didn't yet experience, etc., I understood where my problems were and I booted the game again. With a new approach, I hopped back into the game and finally, it clicked. I was speeding through Hyrule, collecting stuff, doing shrines, finishing quests, and then I even beat the game. But I've been a little bit dishonest with you. My Hyrule experience actually stretches across my first half a year with Switch. In the meantime, I got some other games, some physical, some digital, and I tried to get to love my new console. I desperately tried to love the console I spent so much money on already, but everything I tried felt somehow underwhelming of sorts. I had my fun time while it lasted, but there was a certain aftertaste that I had to endure. It got into a kind of alienating state where I tried so much to find ways for it to be fun that I just went all out. I bought a bigger case and bigger Joy-Con alternative, so my hands won't hurt as much from Joy-Cons. Not just one variant, but two actually. And to be honest, I really liked playing Mario Kart and Monster Hunter with these. The additional distance of the joysticks was a much needed help and I was thriving. I finished Mario Kart, got my way through Mario Odyssey, tried to get into Stardew Valley, and it was nice for a while, honestly. Still, I wouldn't choose Switch to be my go-to console, but I saw the potential. One of the things was that I'm currently traveling a lot. Not just because of work and family, but also to Akuma, my girlfriend. Since we still maintain a long-distance relationship, Switch was a way for me to bring some games to her place when my PS console was sitting in mine. Which meant carrying this huge ass bag with the large Joy-Cons. Well, but then, during summer, Akuma bought me the Vengeance collection of Seifu. And suddenly, this game made my Joy-Con alternatives obsolete. It might be just me, but actually, the bigger joysticks meant the game stopped registering my combos because the delay between inputs was too big. So I had to go back to regular Joy-Cons. I hit and punched my way through Sifu, accompanied by my grey Joy-Cons, and after this time, I finally got it. They finally sat right in my hands, and so I could not only switch to this smaller case I got as a Black Friday gift to my huge ass one, but also start enjoying the true Switch experience. Or so I thought. Days passed by, suddenly became weeks, months, and I still didn't give my Switch a proper care, let alone finish the only game I wanted for the console. I tried Mario Galaxy and pretty much binged the game in a few days. It was an amazing experience. I kept on collecting games for the Switch in a desperate attempt to start to love the console. Instead, I fell in love with collecting games on Switch. Somehow the size and shape of the boxes give me the perfect amount of serotonin I need, and I started to almost exclusively look more for Switch games to buy. I kept on collecting and got my hands on some amazing picks. I bought myself a Switch copy of Nier Automata, got Astral Chain, Xenoblade 3, Bayonetta 3, and then didn't play them. Or at least not whole. I tried all of them at some point just to get the taste of what they are, so I can get back to them later when I will be in proper mood to tackle them. I also started buying stuff in sales on the Nintendo store. And suddenly, while in my buying spree, I fell in love with indies. Indie games on Switch felt right. Oftentimes when I booted up a game like Hades on my PlayStation, there was a lingering feeling of
Why? Why would you play something like that on a console as powerful as I am? Play something more epic. Give me 4K graphics, a lot of effects to render, particles. Just let me show you my power.
But Switch felt cozy. I could just lay on a couch with the game while watching TV, blasting through stuff like Signalis. It felt at home on the Switch. And maybe that was the point. The console that is hardware-wise a glorified Xbox 360 just started clicking as a watch that wears a Varudo to stay still for more than just 5 seconds. And my collection grew and is still growing. Physicals for Switch are expensive as hell, but peaks were releasing on the hardware, and since, as I said, I travel a lot, suddenly even longer games started appealing to me because that way I could access them anywhere. I got to stuff like Persona, Kingdom of Amalur: Reckoning, Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, to kinda put my feelings and situation into perspective, I also own a gaming laptop. Not a bad one, I dare to say as well. I mean, it could handle Cyberpunk 2077, so it shall be good, huh? But I just don't like PC gaming. Gamepads feel more comfortable to me, and before all of you will angrily comment that I can easily plug the gamepad to my PC, it just doesn't feel right. It's like putting a steering wheel on a bicycle. You can, but should you? Also, similarly to the situation with "you are wasting your power on this" that I had with indie games on PS5, I know that I have things to do on my PC aside gaming. I work from there. I have all the programs I need for work on my PC, so when I play game there, I usually turn it off after a while because the fact that I could be doing work while wasting my time gaming on the same machine just eats me up. That's also why I prefer consoles. I know consoles are dedicated for gaming, so when I sit down to console, my mind is at peace. This is my dedicated time to play, and thanks to the Switch, I can have this dedicated time anywhere. I suck at chronological retelling of stories if they span a long time, and these are almost 3 years we are talking about. So let's just fast forward to me writing this video and the current situation with the Nintendo Switch. March 2025, 1 month to Switch 2 Direct. Xenoblade X will release in a few days on Switch, followed by a Switch 2 Direct too close for me to even be done with the game by the time the stream will launch. I also just got Ikai, Disco Elysium and Ring Fit Adventure for the Switch. My collection is ever growing. Every time I visit a shop that sells games, I physically need to get out with at least one Switch game. I stroll past PS games, Xbox games, and peripherals to reach the ever-alluring red glow of the Nintendo section. It's an addiction. And I mean it. Look at my graphical collection list that's steadily growing as a mold under floor. Oh yeah. Akuma showed me that there will be a release of both Lisa games on the Switch. Give me a sec here. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Oh, okay. Where was I? Oh yeah. For every entry ticked off, the others will get added. And it leads me to sometimes just dipping into a game I have no idea will be good or not. Like this one. Though, to be honest, it was on sale from 30 euros to 4 and it says it has Lovecraft elements. Huh. Remember me talking about Lovecraft? Good. Just a mention of his name is like a hook pulling me in on games. And to be fair, not just games. At this point, my physical collection includes 39 games, and together with digitals, my Switch library is already 87 games. Let me show you some of my favorite things my collection include. First time I ever bought a physical DLC for a game, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Extra Course Pass. My Bayonetta collection. This amazing release of World of Horror with all the goodies inside. My Xenoblade Saga. This is still without the X1 because it's releasing in a few days, remember? Doyoki GameCube controller. Yeah, I needed something to play Sunshine properly, right? And of course, all the games that Akuma bought for me. And I honestly have to wonder myself, how? How did this happen? Did you saw people now? Even before the release of the official specs of Switch 2 or its price, they already bitch about how overpriced it will be and how it's an inferior console in today's lineup of PS5s, etc. Yeah, I've been like this. To even imagine I would own a Switch was insane. I thought it's overpriced garbage with no power whatsoever, that just can't match with what the others put out steadily. But Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Metroid Dread, all the indies, the chill and compact nature of Switch, the accessorization of it. Somehow, this is how I imagine gaming should be. Fun as the major element that is being pursued. That is what the Switch gave me. Countless hours of fun and happiness when I didn't care about hunting for grindy collectibles and achievements. Where I didn't care that my game isn't a realistic 4K movie with hundreds of FPS. Just fun and amazing memories. If you'd look at that, I became a Team Red, while Akuma stays Team Blue.
Put it together, what does it make? Purple Rain!
I mean, I still hold my PlayStation in high regard, and it's still my main console. But there are a lot of times when I'm just thinking about getting game on the Switch rather than PS5. If anything, I am a purple team. Like Miss Windy's lightsaber that combines the blue and the red. I honestly hope that the Switch 2 will take it from here and will carry on the legacy of its predecessor. An underdog that was supposed to stay forgotten in the history of gaming, but instead became one of the most popular and innovative consoles today. And for all of you skeptics and haters, wait for the console actually releasing, or at least for the direct, and either try it out for yourself or don't talk about it at all when you know nothing, like Jon Snow. With that said, lots of luck Switch 2. I'm gonna watch your career with great interest. I'll look forward to your next years and to all the fun you'll give us. Let's hope that some of the titles I wanna see in your lifespan will turn true. I'm Arak, and this was a relatively normal game show.